Is the child inside you still controlling you? Let's talk about that. Hello and welcome to Ojesh Pokhrel Show-Episode 13, finally my favorite number. So today I want to talk about a very interesting thing that hit me quite deep, because that was something that also bugged me. I started to go to a gym almost 1.5 months, and there is a guy, a coach, let's say. He's not actually a coach, but he teaches us how we should be doing. He's the owner, maybe a person who runs the gym. I don't know if he's the owner. I don't know he's the owner of the gym, seriously. But then he has such a great body. He talks. He has the ability to bind people in his stories. I like that about him. But then one day we were walking back from the gym. At the same time, started talking, and he started talking about his father. He was not allowed to use bike because he had some accident, and he told about how horrific those accidents were. And then now my father does not allow that. He's grown almost 35 years of age. So he was explaining how he was lucky to survive. I was still stuck where he said that my father doesn't give me the bike, and it was so painful to see a grown-up man still conditioned in such a way that he has to take his father's permission to do whatever he likes. He's almost at the middle point of his life. In Nepal it's about 70-75. So I was sad because I was also that person. It was so difficult to break out of the mold that my father has given to me. And I could see he also talked about I don't have money, and he started talking about how he had no money, he never has money. He started talking about that, and then I shared with him a story incident that I myself have had when I started looking why I was not able to earn much, why I was limited in my earning. When I went dig deep into my beliefs and everything, I found that I had a belief that I could not earn more than my father. I had that belief. I could not earn more than my father. It would be disrespect to earn more than my father. That was the belief that was holding me. It was holding me so deep that I was not able to manifest enough money in my life. I was just barely keeping. And as soon as I heard that he did not have money, and he talked that his father had some control over you, I imagined that he might have that kind of issue. So I told him, like, just casually, yeah, it happens like that. I also had that problem. I had a belief that I could not earn more than my father. And he was speaking for 15 minutes till that point. Once I said that, he just started listening to me, and it was so beautiful. So beautiful in the sense, I actually saw that I actually touched a core subject in him, and hopefully changed him. Or at least what happens to belief is, once you are aware of those beliefs does not have that much power on you, because you can now control them and you can change your beliefs. I don't know if he changed it, or I don't know anything about that, but that story for me, the instant he stopped talking and started listening what I was trying to say. I said, what happens is, with our belief, I had that belief, so I never could earn. But once I removed that, I healed that. That is the word I told him. Once I healed that, I started earning more. And he started listening. He listened, and it was just 2 minutes of silence, and I started talking about different things that happens. About there is methods, meditation that helps people change that. And it was so beautiful to me, because I could understand, and I knew that he was listening to me, because I felt that I healed something inside him. I just maybe realized, I just told him the truth. And why I'm sharing this story in such detail is because me, you, everybody, we are still that 5-year-old, the 3-year-old that was not given love, that was neglected, whose sibling got better marks, better dress, better parties, better chocolates, better cakes than yourself. We still have that one small child who could not understand why a particular dress was more important than the other, why you could not have the same amount of copies than your friends, same amount of I don't know, maybe going to movies than your friends. We are still that small child, who could not understand why you were scolded. You were just you just slipped, maybe it just fell from your hand. But we are still that child. We still feel that, we get scolded. People scold us for no reason. We don't deserve anything. You are always not enough. People don't love you. You are still carrying that from your childhood. At that time, you were so small, you had not seen the world, and some random event happened. And if you go to that moment, you will see that your father, mother, uncle, friends, whoever said those things to you that stuck you or made you decide that the world is this, or made you decide that you are not good enough, or any limiting belief you had, you will see that they were not in their peak state. They were not all loving, they were not all giving, they were not grateful. They might be angry, they might be frustrated, they were depressed. It is always that some negative emotion will result them to say something hurtful to you. And when you are hurt, the emotion is so charged that it becomes a very deep seated memory, and we carry that for the rest of your life if you don't heal it. And through this podcast, this 8 minutes, I don't know how much it will touch you, but I hope it will touch you. I hope you will start seeing the reality that, something you have decided when you were a child, you are still holding to that. There are instances. Go back to your childhood. Think, which is the most intense memory you have? When was the time you felt most hurt? What are the things that you feel guilty about still? And go deep into that and ask yourself, why do I feel this? Why do I feel guilty? Why do I feel anger? Why do I feel jealousy? Why do I feel this and that? And just ask yourself why, one why after other why and after other why. After almost 4 or 5 whys, you will go inside somewhere where you have stored the real instance, the real event. And what I want you to do is just observe that from outside. See what you were doing, what was your age, and look at the reality of that. At 3 years old, you don't have the experience you have now, and you decided something. See any person who is in this event, in that scene with you, and see their state, see their face. Try to understand what they might be thinking. And with that understanding, my friend, will come love. You'll start loving the person who gave you that heart. You'll start loving yourself for understanding that, it was never their intention. You'll start loving yourself more. And what will this result is, you will not have that belief again. That belief will be removed. And now you will have a better understanding of that particular thing that you were guilty about, jealous about. And what you can do now is, the event is in your control, and you can change those beliefs. You can always plant a new seed, a new belief that will serve you in the future. And if you do this for any negative emotion you have, every negative emotion will have some of it brought from your childhood, or some of your very intense memory, very emotional moment that is stored as a memory. And in that emotional state, your brain had to bring the meaning out of it. What happens is, when your brain cannot give meaning, it is such a big thing that you cannot understand, and not understanding is the most hardest part for the brain, and it gives a meaning which might limit you in the future. Go and look at your finances, go and look at your relationships, go and look at your community, or your giving, serving. How do you serve? Go and look at your workplace. Go and look at your purpose of life. Go and look at the things you love, the people you feel about, women, kids, dogs, cats. There is a reason you are feeling that. And what I want to, if there is any negative emotion for anybody, anything, any way, whatever it may be, at the bottom of it, there is some intense memory, some emotional response you had to give a meaning, and that meaning sadly turned out to be limiting to you in the future. My mentor Jack Canfield says, imagine a 3-year-old flying an aeroplane. This is exactly what you are doing. You are already grown up. You are in an age where you can decide for yourself. You can make a living out for yourself. But then what you do is you give that 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and 8-year-old yourself to be the captain of your ship. Imagine how up and down, how turbulent that flight will be. And that is why, my friend, your life is turbulent. You need to start taking control. You need to know that you have grown up, and the fun that the kid had is already over. Now you have to go and take the steering and fly the airplane. This is your Awesomeness coach, and I love you.